Yeah.
Valentine, and we'll both be safe till
Yeah.
Saint.
Merry little Christmas.
Oh.
Let your
Oh,
heart.
that's it. Yeah.
And I'm back.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
That's right, folks. I'm back. And this one's for all the masochists out there. Though I'm not sure who you might be because I don't see any of you at the meetings. This year's newsletter, sponsored by Houlihan Lawrence. When you got a sister in real estate, you gotta let everyone know. Happy Chris Mahana Kwanzaa to all who celebrate. Wow, what a year. Am I right? 2022 started out like a shit sandwich, a mix of fear and dread served on anger with a side of despair and regret. And that was only Tuesday, as we were returning harsh realities of work, life, family, COVID in New Jersey. But where we returned from was amazing. Spending New Year's with the bronzed and beautiful Bob and Amalia Molyneux. Bob is bronzed, Amalia's beautiful. And their spectacular life south of the border. We stayed with them in Cabo San Lucas, overlooking the harbor where cruise ships loaded with fat tourists with their noisy clothes and beaches filled with thong-laden women and men. I had never seen such moonshine, and I must admit I liked it. We hobnobbed with the super rich, which was odd because I never thought the super rich hobnobbed, but apparently they do. Or maybe it was gallivanting. Whatever. I probably should have researched this better. Anyway, of all the Magnifico Mexicali Adventuras, tequila tasting, wine tasting, more tequila tasting, and siestas, one memorable meal at Flora Farms featured a wink and a smile to yours truly from famed supermodel and first woman I ever saw naked in a Playboy, Cindy Crawford. I reciprocated with my own wink and a smile, not knowing if she'd ever get a chance to see me naked. And while this was enough to make my year, this all happened the first week in January. That being said, that trip cut into my annual dryish January. I kept going strong with a February trip to Aspen to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Dud's passing. 10 years. I miss that guy. Best father I've ever had. March saw me returning to Aspen and even Vail and Beaver Creek, where I reunited with Undie Man. And I will not be sharing any further details. But yeah, my frequent sojourns prove empty nesting gives me full reign to be emptied of the nest as well. And then there was our trip to Italia. It only took 40 years of corny commercials from Mr. Italy Mario Perillo to finally inspire a trip to Bel Paese.
Sorry, I don't speak Italian.
Lots of history, old buildings, Renaissance art and Italians, and churches, tons of churches. Churches everywhere. You could stand on the steps of one church and spit on another, though I recommend against that. Oh, and the pizza. Sweet Jesus crust in heaven, the pizza. All day, every day.
Prego.
Grazie.
11 o'clock in the morning.
Perfect time for Prosecco.
So 2022 was the year I turned 61, what I'll call my cruising altitude. And I don't want to say that 61 is hard. There are folks older than I, and you remember who you are, or maybe you don't. But I also feel that this is the year my get up and go got up and went. And the realization that some days you're the pigeon, but most days you're the statue. This year, I'm excited to finally formally announce that both our daughters are potty trained, walking, and fully grown. All 5'4" and 5'1" of them.
Certified pediatrician here, and watching this video, it is evident to me that this little one is the first child, and that's the second child.
Earlier this year, Peyton was crushing her job at GameStop. She loved it and was doing so well, except for what she called the customers. And I guess I can relate. At present, Peeps has repatriated her person and property to her previous perch atop our primary property and spends protracted periods perpetually playing first-person shooter games with prepubescent peers. It's preposterous. Taylor has had quite the year. She lost her job, got another one, lost her apartment, found another one, and got hit by a car and spent 2 days in a hospital miraculously timed with our travels to Nashville. She collided with a Land Rover, got launched across an intersection, and kindly texted us that she was going to be fine before hitting the ground. And speaking of texts, an important milestone in the annals. It says anal. Who wrote this? Did anyone spell check this? An important milestone in the annals of human history was achieved earlier this month as we celebrated the 30th anniversary of texting on December 3rd, 1992, followed immediately by the 30th anniversary of the first dick pic.
And now,
The most famous reindeer of all, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, had a very shiny nose.
The breaking news headline of the year was Lisa's shoulder surgery, repairing a torn supraspinatus tendon in her right shoulder after a failed belly flop attempt at securing the best hotel bed on a Florida vacation with her friends. The pain was excruciating. So to relieve the persistent agony and suffering, I went to see Dave Matthews twice, back-to-back nights at the Garden with my boys. I felt much better. And she's better now too, or at least not complaining as much. So I got that going for me, which is nice. And prior to the surgery, we believe she must have also injured her head as she willingly attended a Yankees game. It was Garrett Cole bobblehead night. So hell hath indeed frozeneth over. And now I'd like to present the Man of the Year Award. The nominees for Outstanding Achievement in Masculine Existence. Glenn Shavitz for Yankees, Devils, and Jets games, Vermont and Long Beach Island, a little Red Hot Chili Peppers, and most importantly, for surviving the ire, dare I say, the slings and arrows of a career in Broadway theater publishing.
Laddie, man, I got skiing without you today, man.
I know, man.
My Larry man's a girly man.
Number 2 is George Francis Sanford IV, the essence of insurance agent humility. He is nominated for Vermont and Long Beach Island, for skiing and boating, for Devils and Giants games. He is a man with a big heart and an even bigger liver. Next, Larry Bullock. What can I say that he hasn't said already? For the friendship and the laughter, and another big liver, and for getting back to nature, gardening, and landscape architecture, since as we all know, in the dirt is where he belongs. Nominee number 4, Chef, aka Steve Ilya, for his numerous invitations to concerts I'll never forget and never remember. For lazy summer days down the shore, and for his meticulous grocery shopping and over-engineered meal prep, but primarily for countless cocktail concoctions of masterful mixology. And last and least, Bill Miller, for his brotherly love and generosity, and living in Aspen and Miller skis. You, my friend, should win by nepotism alone. By the way, you all might be surprised to note Mark Bordick's absence on this year's list, but with his perfect children and beautiful wife, fuck him. Envelope, please. Drum roll, please. And the winner is Squeaky, a friend, a feline, a son, a brother, and a man for the ages. This gentle giant hath withstood the test of time in the Miller household. His underpaid and underappreciated convalescing of a dying mother, surviving a derelict uncle, obnoxious siblings, Bubba the Bastard and Loomy the Annoying. He spends his days in hiding or on the kitchen counter, clawing for attention, and his nights sleeping on Lisa's head, all in constant fear of Bubba the Terrible. He possesses a kind and generous nature and works tirelessly, diligently, nights and weekends, to rehabilitate Bubba from being an asshole. On a final note, this year we experienced the joy of weddings, birthdays, and booster shots, but also extreme sadness and loss. We lost the leader of our animal brood, our frightened feral feline, Bridget. After 14 years, I hardly knew you. Literally. And while the passing of Vivian McCardle at the tender young age of 96 was truly sorrowful, the sudden and bizarre, tragic death of our dear friend and El Diablo from Hell's Kitchen, Wendy McCardle, stole our faith. We miss your huge heart, warm smile, your coarse voice, and guttural laugh, which foretold your unexpected visits, and your post-party beverage and liquor theft. We know you're watching over us and giving heaven some hell. And to each and every one of you who have made it this far into the disquisition, have a very Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, season's greetings, and a Happy New Year. Come on, 2023. What you got?